Just a ploy. The amendment says the word judge more than 35 times. It's about holding judges accountable for deliberate violations. And we just feel that they're using that as a ploy to divert people's attention from what the real issues are and why they don't want judges to be held accountable. We'd like to know.
Okay, Diana, same piece, misconceptions, misreporting of information regarding E. You've heard some the other way?
All right, first of all, the proponents clearly want to avoid the fact that it affects all those in public service, and that's been affirmed by two courts, a circuit court, the Supreme Court, through the Attorney General. They have mentioned it in their own interviews that they've done with the Madison paper and as recently as last week, that it does affect all boards, schools, and commissions. So they're trying to deceive the people that it doesn't. Secondly, judges are held accountable. We believe that. We support that. They are through the process of all their decisions are appealable to a higher court. Court hearings are open. Clearly, they have the ability to bring cases before the judicial qualification of ethics violations. If a judge has done something wrong, they will be sued like anyone else. Clearly, they're trying to misrepresent their point of view and allow criminals to have more power than good people in South Dakota. So there's a lot of misinformation, but I trust that the taxpayers of South Dakota will get the correct information. And once again, Rich, I'd say they have not pointed to one case in South Dakota of judicial misaccountability or misrepresentation, and clearly they cannot deceive the taxpayers.
Okay, we're going to take a phone call here now. We're going to go to Mary in Sioux Falls. Mary, are you there?
Yes, I am.
And give us your question, please. Hi, Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're up for your question.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
My comment, I guess it's more of a comment. I just went through a divorce, and the judge that ruled on my case, because I am disabled, said I had no social standing to consider because it left, it was difficult for me to leave the home at times. He said I had no social standing to consider in the awarding of alimony. He also discriminated against me because I was a stay-at-home mother for the majority of the marriage, and he said that I was not entitled to as much alimony or assets because of this. And the whole thing goes on and on. So if you want a case to cite, you can look at my divorce, and there is no recourse for me to go. And I do believe that judges should be held accountable because they are not going to be held accountable by each other.
Okay. Well, we're sorry to hear the confusion there, but let's use that as a jumping off point for Jake here first. There's an example, but what do you want South Dakotans to know before they go voting on November 7th about E?
That example there, I get phone calls all the time. We receive letters, and that's the whole thing here in South Dakota. Everything's done in secret, so you can't verify anything, but we get hundreds of phone calls from people. When people go to the ballots this year, I want them to go to amendmente.com. Look at the bad judges all around the country. South Dakota is no different than any other state. We don't have a magic veil that keeps the honest judges here and makes the corrupt ones stay out. And I also ask that the South Dakota voters ignore the ballot explanation. It was obvious politicking on Attorney General Long's part. We tried to sue to get it changed. The dissenting opinion by Justice Sabers said that the Attorney General's ballot explanation fails to state the purpose of the constitutional amendment and therefore is not objective and therefore it's not legal. So I just urge everyone to go out there and vote with your brains on November 7th and vote yes on Amendment E.
All right, thanks, Jake. Diana, what do you want South Dakotans to know before they vote on November 7th?
Well, first of all, I think in answer to the person's question, I don't know both sides of the story, and every story has two sides. And secondly, you can always appeal your decision and look back, and so I can't comment on that. But what I do know is I am not going to allow them to place less than the total amount of honesty in that in the Attorney General's opinion. The Attorney General is by law required to write an explanation, and it has now been affirmed by two courts. So Jake is just wrong on that to do that. And the fact of the matter is they are trying to scare the public and tell them that we have cases. When we do not have cases, they haven't pointed them out, specific judges, and we do hold judges accountable through the election process, through the appeals process in a court, and through the judicial qualifications. And I would ask that people please get the facts and vote no on Amendment E.